Well, from the House of Commons now, I'm joined by the Conservative MP and former Northern Ireland Secretary Owen Paterson. With me in the studio, Alistair Campbell, former Director of Communications for Tony Blair and part of his inner circle during the Good Friday Agreement negotiations. Owen Paterson, if they can't square this circle, we're heading for a hard Brexit, and that's a disaster, isn't it?
No, not at all. We all very much hope that we will get onto trade talks, and what we'd much prefer to see would be reciprocal trade with zero tariffs. That would be much the best solution. But the EU has been stringing us along, demanding more and more money, demanding, in my opinion, unacceptable demands that the ECJ still has a remit after Brexit Day.
So you'd put up a border in Northern Ireland?
No, let me answer the question. No, there is absolutely no need for a hard border. There is a border at the moment. There is a currency border. There is a tax border. There is an excise duty border. I've been going to Northern Ireland for probably nearly 10 years now, almost every week. I still go regularly. No one on either side of the border, in business or politics, has ever said that presents a problem. The border is basically a tax border. It doesn't have to be an inspection point. And with modern technology, as was explained in the government's paper, confirmed by John Thompson, the head of Customs and Revenue, there are technologies that can be pre-invoicing, electronic invoicing, authorised economic operators.
OK,
so hang on.
No, let me just put this to Alistair Campbell.
No, I haven't quite finished your point. This is very important. This is mainly a local economy.
I'll come back to you in a second. Alistair Campbell, I mean, he's making it sound like you've made all the problems up.
Well, the whole way through this process, people like Owen, any problem that you put forward, it's sort of waved away airily by saying this isn't really a problem. This is a genuine problem. And also this no deal, which, I mean, Owen says he does want a deal. Owen, I think, is very, very close to being in the let's just end this whole thing, walk away from the talks. If you go into the WTO, there has to be a border, because you're then going to be with two countries that have got no proper free trade arrangement at all. And how you can even contemplate that without actually understanding, you having been a Northern Ireland Secretary, the risks that that is going to pose to stability on the island of Ireland is frankly beyond me. But it's delusional to say that this circle can be squared. And what has happened in the last 24 hours is that the delusion has met with the reality of politics and the complexities that have to be addressed, and they're not being addressed.
Owen Paterson?
Complete nonsense. John Thompson, the head of the HMRC, made it quite clear in his submissions to the Brexit Committee that even if we went to WTO terms, he was relaxed that there are current measures which could be introduced. He was pressed and pressed by those of a Remainer attitude like Alistair Campbell. I've just told you, you can have electronic invoicing, you can have pre-clearance, you can have a derogation for small business on the border, running newspapers or whatever, and you have regular suppliers such as those taking milk. It's from the same farm, the same tanker, the same road, the same destination, under authorised economic operators. So we have, as an example, the UK, we have 604 authorised economic operators. Germany has 6,000. So what we need to do is to establish the end game. And where Alistair is nearly right, what I'm saying is that the EU is trying to extort more and more money. It's demanding unacceptable terms on the remit of the ECJ after we've left. And there comes a point when we say, sadly, enough is enough. You're not prepared to talk about reciprocal free trade, so we will go to WTO terms and we will prepare ourselves accordingly. And we'll go to Geneva. And that is an option which would present our partners with a real choice of really sitting down and doing a free trade deal, which is what we all want.
And that's at the point where Owen Paterson and the Brexit extremists have basically been saying the whole way through, they need us more than we need them, which simply isn't true. And yesterday, Theresa May, it seems, was ready to make some kind of arrangement with the Irish government, and then has this humiliation of it, the entire thing being unplugged by the DUP, underlining the instability that this process has created in Ireland. And I just fail to see how Owen Paterson can be so sanguine when this process, I think, is actually running into the sand.
So you think there is no solution?
I put it this way, Owen can tell me, quote, all the evidence he wants that was given to a select committee. I have yet to read a piece of paper that says this is how you end the relationship between the UK and the European Union and how you settle the issue of this land border without there being a border. I have yet to see how that can be done.
Owen Paterson, how would you stop people crossing the border
Well, Alistair, can I just say,
in great numbers, or goods that don't meet the regulations? How would you check?
Alistair's talking complete nonsense. There was a paper put out by the government in the summer in real detail on how you would handle the border. And I repeat again, the most senior man on this, the man who runs HMRC...
It wasn't convincing and it wasn't accepted.
Just let me answer the point where you were talking tosh just now. HMRC have said very clearly that they are not phased and they are relaxed under real pressure from Remainer MPs to say this is all going to be a nightmare, as you're saying, and I just disagree with you. But just to go back to the earlier points, Alistair's got considerable experience of Northern Ireland. The last time we met, I think, we shared an aeroplane flying back on one of those computer planes, and we had a chat. And I have spent much time there and talked to a lot of people. And yesterday's proposal, I don't know how it got in the draft, was extremely damaging to the Belfast Agreement, which stated very clearly that Northern Ireland remains and is an integral part of the United Kingdom until there should be a border poll. There's no chance of a border poll at the moment, and therefore the same conditions, the same regulations should pertain in Northern Ireland as in any other part of the United Kingdom. The proposal that Northern Ireland is hived off was generally very damaging to Belfast.
I agree with by stopping the whole thing.
Well, I think there has to come a point, surely, where when you see the damage that is already being done to the economy, which we saw in the budget, when you see the people working in the National Health Service saying that they are feeling the pressures, when you see defence procurement chiefs saying that because of the collapse in the value of the pound post-Brexit, that they are not able to buy some of the orders that they've been making, when you see the loss in our standing in the world, when you see the...
And how people voted in the referendum.
Well, people are entitled to change their mind. June the 23rd was not the end of our democracy. And I actually do believe that the reason why Owen Paterson and the people on the extremist wing of the debate, why they're getting a little bit desperate, I think they realise that people are changing their mind as they see the costs mounting, the chaos mounting, and the absolute total incompetence of the government's inability to deliver the Brexit that Owen, by the way, Owen, who once said that only a madman would want to leave the single market, you've never fully explained that one. How these people are driving the government over a cliff.
Got to leave it there. Owen Paterson, thank you very much. Maybe you can explain...
absolutely, more absolute nonsense and misery from Alistair Campbell.
Well, it was just a quote.
Have record inward foreign investment. We have record
we're not talking about that. He was asking you about the single market
quote,
thing.
He's always taken out of context. I go on to explain that it's just a market and we will always have a relationship with it.
Okay.
And I say we're not going to be like Somaliland or North Korea. And Alistair knows that jolly well.
Thank you very much. Alistair Campbell, thank you for coming.